It's 5 and 10 from SkyWatch TV for January 28th, 2021. I'm Derek Gilbert. Topic number 5 today, trading places. That's a reference to the old Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy film about 35 years ago, you might remember. It seems to be relevant given what's been happening on the markets over the past month or so, and especially the last couple of days. Wednesday may have been the most insane stock trading day, or one of them anyway, in modern history. The volume on the NASDAQ exchange was literally off the charts. I mean, literally, they had to add to the top of the chart to accommodate all of the volume. 11 billion shares were traded on the NASDAQ on Wednesday, and that's what NASDAQ stock prices at all-time highs. This is more than double the average of 4.3 billion shares traded per day, almost 50% higher than the previous record traded in a single day, which was just set earlier this month. What is going on here? Well, apparently day traders gathering at a Reddit or a subreddit group called WallStreetBets have been putting the squeeze on major hedge funds that have shorted a number of stocks. Now, what does it mean to short a stock? That is a bet that a particular stock will drop in value. When you short sell a stock, an investor will borrow shares of a stock or another asset that he believes, or he or she believes, will drop in value. Then you promise to return those shares by a certain date. That's the expiration date. Then you sell those borrowed shares at the market price. So stock price today is $100. You borrow shares from somebody else, promise to pay them back in 30 days. You're betting that the shares are going to drop within that time frame. You sell them at the current market rate. Then 30 days later, when you have to return those shares, you buy them from someone else at the new value, which you're betting is lower, and you pocket the profit. However, there is risk involved because the value of the stock might actually go up in that 30-day period, and then you're in a world of hurt. So what is happening is that day traders using investing apps like Robinhood are buying up shares of stocks that have been shorted by large hedge funds. The biggest example is GameStop, and you see that on the screen behind me. GameStop, the video game store you see in a lot of strip malls here across the United States. 1 year ago, GameStop shares were trading at around $4. $4 a share. On December 31st, GameStop closed at $18.84. Yesterday, it closed at, well, over $300, and as of this recording, it's about $297 a share. Now think about that. $4 a share, $297 a share. What is going on? It has nothing to do with the intrinsic value of the company. What's happened is major hedge funds had bet a lot of money that shares of GameStop were going to drop even further. And so these guys on the subreddit have been buying up the shares and driving up the price, which is called a short squeeze, because the expiration dates are now coming up for these hedge funds, and they're going to lose a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money when they have to return the shares that they've borrowed, because they're going to have to buy them at a much higher price, $4, $297, than they paid when they sold them back when they borrowed them. Literally billions of dollars are being lost by major hedge funds now to these retail day traders who are using stimulus check money, in some cases, to invest in the market. Now, be advised, I have only a rudimentary understanding of this, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that if you borrow at $18, $19 a share and you've got to pay it back at $297 a share, you're in trouble. And that is exactly what is happening here. Other favorites on this Reddit group, heavily shared stocks, or shorted stocks, I should say, are Sundial, which has jumped 38% here in the last couple of days. Castor Maritime is up 68%. Naked Brand, 75%. The theater chain AMC was trading below $3 a share just a week ago. Yesterday, it closed at $19.90. Now, as of this morning, Thursday, it appears that Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, other brokers that cater to day traders who can use smartphone and tablet apps to invest have blocked traders from buying additional shares of GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Bed Bath & Beyond, and others that are heavily shorted. The guys at WallStreetBets are not happy because it's becoming obvious that the game is stacked in favor of the house, which is really no surprise, but the big hedge funds are now applying pressure to other brokerages and the tools that brokers use and day traders use to put a stop to this, because as I said, they are literally losing billions of dollars to these day traders. As I said, this is like the Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy movie from the 1980s, Trading Places. Looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Now, just as a hypothetical, what happens if these day traders set their sights on precious metals? Curious, I looked and note that the spot silver price and gold both trending sharply higher today.
This is Dabu7, taking a look at what's causing a frenzy in the markets here today. If you're unaware of what's going on, I'll get you caught up to speed here. We have this account, WallStreetBets. This is a subreddit page that has been talking about stocks and things like that for some time over on their channel. Well, they got some talk going about GameStop and about trying to battle back basically against the billionaires and expose a rigged market. Well, this kind of snowballed and snowballed and snowballed. And then on Tuesday, Elon Musk stepped in and liked one of his tweets. This guy went from 12,000 followers to over 600,000 followers. And in the midst of this, we've had several different stocks spike. One of them being GME, which is GameStop. Now what they did is they caused a short squeeze here. This is where they went in and they found that there was a whole bunch of people that had a bunch of shorts set on different stocks. And what they did is they ran these prices up in what is called a short squeeze. And this then forces all those people that had their shorts, well, to get liquidated. And this all took off when this thing was around $10 a share. It ran all the way up and broke over 300 and was still climbing. And there's a lot of argument out there as to whether what's happening right here is being orchestrated by someone else or really this group. It's something that we're going to have to take a deep dive into. But they've started this talk about the theater group AMS, I believe that's what it was, and also in silver. And that's very interesting. We've seen a spike. Go over here and take a look at the charts. Ever since this was announced on silver, look what it's done. So, there's a lot going on out there between stocks and cryptos. The best thing I could tell everyone is to do your own research, to deep dive in this, and to never buy a tip. Only buy the dip or the pullback on any investment here. You never want to catch anything on the high. You want to catch them on the low. And sometimes you've got to sit there and babysit certain projects to catch them at the right time. Some, especially cryptos, they will run with Bitcoin. But this stuff here, this is all being driven by subgroups here. Some that have millions of dollars that are involved in this. Now, what happened when this whole frenzy went into motion is some of these places started to stop the trading. They tried to halt the trading multiple times. This has happened at Robinhood and a couple other places. Immediately, there was word that a lawsuit had been launched out of New York because people were ticked off about what was happening here, about everything getting stopped. You had people from both sides of the aisle weighing in on this. AOC and Ted Cruz actually agreeing on something, and it was this. And look at this. People are getting information. They're getting messages just like this saying that we sold your stuff, just like you see here, without the people wanting to. They closed their shares at whatever price here. People are ticked off. So I warned 24 hours ago not to get sucked into this. I wonder how many people listened. Well, that's the latest here in terms of what's happening. And I expect things to keep on going because when they get to the top of one thing like their GameStop, well, they'll pick up somewhere else. And as we've seen, they've already started. So I've been saying for a long time for everyone out there, it's my personal belief that silver and gold in the physical is where it's at. It's time to put your money where your mouth is in terms of all this, because moves are being made. I'll leave links below, and I'm going to break this down even further on the next live stream, so make sure to join us over on DLive, going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Much love, y'all.
Is the White House concerned about the stock market activity we're seeing around GameStop, and now with some other stocks as well, including the subsidiary or whatever, the company that was Blockbuster? And have there been any conversations with the SEC about how to proceed?
Well, I'm also happy to repeat that we have the first female Treasury Secretary and a team that's surrounding her, and often questions about market we'll send to them. But our team is, of course, our economic team, including Secretary Yellen and others, are monitoring the situation. It's a good reminder, though, that the stock market isn't the only measure of the health of our economy. It doesn't reflect how working and middle-class families are doing. As you all know from covering this, we're in the midst of a K-shaped recovery. America's workers are struggling to make ends meet, which is why the president has introduced this urgent package to get immediate relief to families. All right, I'm going to go.
What? Are you freaking kidding me? When asked about this extraordinary situation developing right now, Joe Biden's press secretary, Joe Biden's administration's response was, hey, look at the junk in the trunk and genitalia that our Treasury Secretary has. A Treasury Secretary that should be holding press conferences right now and stopping the robbing of Main Street by Wall Street right now, but most likely won't, since, of course, Janet Yellen, former head of the Federal Reserve, also received millions of dollars from, of course, the firm that has rigged the game unfairly to short sell GameStop Citadel. This is what people voted for, and this is what our next 4 years will look like. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. A lot of incredibly important news to get into today, especially the horrible news coming out of New York, while, of course, tensions between China and Taiwan reach an all-time high. But of course, mainly we are going to be focusing on the strong-armed robbery that is happening to a lot of people right now. Now, originally I was going to play the George Carlin "It's All a Big Club and You're Not in It" clip to start off this video, but we're going to get this video taken down if we do that. So I would definitely recommend you watch that video independently, but what he said made absolute sense. This is years ago, and of course it's only being codified by people realizing that the financial system is absolutely rigged. There is no free market. The only constant here is, of course, that the most powerful and richest people in the world are not permitted to lose their money. And if they do lose some of their money, the full might of the establishment, media, and government will be utilized to stop that from happening, and that's exactly what happened right now, as some mainstream media journalists like Hillary Sargent are showing how dissatisfied and bothered they are by the latest peasant revolt, which of course is being shut down as we speak, since essentially people on Reddit and on the internet outsmarted some hedge funds with the purchases of stocks that hedge funds planned on crashing. People bought them up so it wouldn't happen, and now major institutions like Robinhood are preventing people from buying more of those stocks to ensure that the billionaires could make their money shorting it. You could sell your stocks of AMC, Nokia, GameStop, and others that people on the internet were supporting. You could sell those, but you can't buy them right now. Not just on Robinhood, but also Cash App right now, Webull, and many other financial institutions that are working in cohesion as if they got orders from the top to stop people from investing in the stock market into companies that they want to personally put money in. Right now, something extraordinary is happening right now with financial institutions coming together, banning people from investing in financial institutions, from investing in companies that they want to personally support, because a whole bunch of billionaires want to make money off of those companies crashing, so they are force crashing this right now as we are speaking. Yes, financial institutions are making sure American stocks crash so they could make money off of a company going out of business. Other people are speculating that a lot of this is organized by Janet Yellen herself. Again, that hasn't been proved. There's no evidence of this, but it wouldn't surprise me with her ties to all these financial institutions that are rigging the system for their own personal benefit. GameStop shares plummeted by over 50%, and so, of course, are all the others that major financial institutions are making sure that you can't buy, but you can only sell. Now, individuals like Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi are saying that they're reviewing this issue, but with all the long-standing allegations against them and alleged insider trading, I highly doubt that she's going to do anything at all. Glenn Greenwald, I think, hit the nail on the head when he said, quote, "It's hard to find market manipulation more flagrant than this, but since it's being done to protect the wealthiest and most powerful Wall Street oligarchs who own and control the establishment wing of both parties, it's very hard to imagine the government treating it as such." And he's absolutely right. Janet Yellen, Nancy Pelosi, won't do anything against this huge, egregious slap in the face, which essentially is not only leading to a lot of people losing their money now, unfairly, but some people attribute this to absolutely armed robbery. And let's be honest here, there's a legitimate case for this. This is absolutely unfair. This is absolutely illegal and goes against the basic principles of capitalism. This is super elitist communism on steroids for the super rich, which has been happening for a long time already, but now more and more people are realizing. Even Ja Rule, the man who spoke to the country after the events in 2001, is describing how this rigged situation is making a lot of people sell their stocks out of fear, and how the people are losing money, which of course is going to be transferred directly to the hedge fund guys. Because, you know, if you're a billionaire, you have to make sure you have a number of yachts, and you can't let the other billionaires have bigger yachts than you. I mean, come on, that's just absolutely ridiculous and totally unfair, right? Now, I think it's very fair to say what's happening right now is absolutely market manipulation. Companies like GameStop, which, by the way, their CEO, who made $500,000 off of this Reddit decentralized rallying call, has made $500,000 off of this, and he donated it to a fund that specifically goes out of its way to help out small businesses that have been locked down. Yes, $500,000 was made from this rallying call by GameStop, and it was donated to those struggling most economically. Specifically donating it to the Barstool Fund, which is run by Dave Portnoy, who also has some very strong opinions about what's happening right now, and in my opinion is absolutely right. And when he says today's crimes need to be punished to the fullest extent of the law, and the people responsible for this need to be in prison. And of course, a lot of other people also believe that as well. And again, he's flabbergasted, I'm flabbergasted. We're all shocked and surprised at what happened today, since this is a major move that is waking up a lot of people to the severity of how rigged the game is actually against them. Very interestingly, other representatives like Rashida Tlaib, Ted Cruz, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are actually some of the vocal few individuals that are speaking out against this, with Rashida Tlaib calling what happened today clearly market manipulation, as, quote, "They're blocking the ability to trade to protect Wall Street hedge funds, stealing millions of dollars from their users to protect people who've used the stock market as a casino for decades." And Rashida Tlaib, even though I don't agree with her on much, I absolutely agree with what she said here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was obsessing about race-based issues earlier today, but she did send out this particular tweet saying that there needs to be hearings about what actually happened today. U.S. Representative Ted Cruz actually responded to this and said that he fully agreed, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accused him of trying to, I'm not joking here, try to murder her. Yes, this is why we can't have nice things, because of hyperbolic, sensationalistic, absolute, irrational people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, where we have an opportunity where people from the left, people from the right are finally coming together, realizing that there's a bigger scam against them, and then Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has to take the turd in the punch bowl and accuse people of trying to kill her because they believed something different politically. I mean, this is ridiculous. But most people are not obsessed with themselves or other hyperbolic race-based divisive divide and conquer nonsense, and they're realizing there's a bigger game played against them. They're not being distracted by it. They're realizing it. They're waking up. And essentially what we're seeing is kind of the birth of a Occupy Wall Street movement online, which I've been telling you guys there's going to be a resurgence of when it comes to the Biden presidency. These are the first steps that we're seeing here, and in my opinion, this is only the beginning, as there's even some rumors about this larger online community going towards precious metals, cryptocurrencies. No matter what it is, people are finally awakened to the larger scams that are being run by billionaires that not only just rig financial markets for their own personal benefit, but essentially have institutions that are above the laws, don't have to be locked down, which of course is creating very profitable cash cows for themselves and their buddies as they're making money with their businesses being open. Meanwhile, police officers show up at your door and try to put you away for the horrible crime of trying to make a living for yourself. That, of course, is exactly exemplified by what happened in New York last year in 2020. Walmart, Amazon, Target, Costco, all allowed to be open. Meanwhile, the New York governor absolutely viciously stomped out any small business from even being able to survive with his mandates. And now we're finding out that there was even more underhandedness from the New York governor, as we're finding out from the New York Attorney General, that just came out and said that Andrew Cuomo's administration underreported deaths by over 50% that happened in nursing homes, where Andrew Cuomo demanded and signed a directive that sick patients with the congenital sickness were forced to go to. And it wasn't close to 6,000 people that died because of Andrew Cuomo's directive. It was over 12,000. 12,000 elderly people died because New York Governor Andrew Cuomo demanded that sick congenital sickness patients were sent back to nursing homes instead of the widely available medical facilities that were open all throughout the state. Sickening, disgusting actions that he should be called to court to and held accountable for immediately. And this is what the New York Times is saying that we should have in a leader with their headline, Andrew Cuomo is the control freak we need right now. This is what we need more of, according to the New York Times. It's an absolute joke, because of course they're promoting Andrew Cuomo at the same time reporting the severely undercounted deaths that were a result because of his own personal actions. And what did you expect from government? Also, something interesting to note here, Chinese government officials are warning Taiwan that their independence means war, as of course there are war games that are ratcheting up right now as we speak that the two nations are conducting at the same time. The United States sent a U.S. aircraft carrier into the region, but things look more tenser than ever, and they will reach a boiling point under the Biden administration, with of course the outcome not being very favorable towards Taiwan at all. So yeah, that's happening.